Hey guys, so really long video, I know. Gonna kind of do a wrap up here. Again, the Greencig or Green Smoke, I really like that case. I wish everyone would make one, preferably holding 2 batteries. That would rock. Yeah, it's got a nice solid feel to it. I'm kind of afraid the lid on my 510 case PCC is going to break off, but you know, I really like this thing. But the batteries, I don't know what to say on that. They're just, if throat hit's not your thing, when you get a cartridge going, you know, and it doesn't take long. You know, it's basically take a couple hits and it'll be vaping okay. You know, fresh battery, it produces some decent vapor. I have noticed on the video, it's probably the lighting in here. It doesn't quite seem to capture what I'm seeing when I blow it out, but you know, that 3-second cutoff is just for the birds. To give you a comparison, I have used the Greencig cartridges on the KR battery, as you guys saw before, which was very nice, and I vaped one dry and took it apart. There was absolutely no burning. That's really not bad, and that's, you know, I am getting a throat hit, and that's with 15 milligram. The other cool thing is that, well, let me wrap this part of the review and then get back into the cartridge itself. You know, but it's just no contest here with this 3-second cutoff. The vapor is actually okay, but the throat hit is almost non-existent, at least with the 15 milligram. So there is one other thing with that cutoff, which I may have actually hit on the other battery. It's supposed to cut off after 30 drags, which would actually be pretty cool, because that's the equivalent of roughly 2 cigarettes if the battery time on time were increased. I am going to play around with dripping and refilling these carts. It may be possible that, you know, with that 3 seconds, maybe I can get enough of a throat hit. I really like the packaging. I like the PCC. Actually, I like the size with the shorty battery. I just can't really cope with that 3-second cutoff, and I really like the cartridges. You know, this is all preliminary at this point. I'm not sure how long these carts last. I do know that I haven't burned one when I was kind of trying to. They're a pain in the ass to get apart. They are actually, the end cap of these carts is actually glued in. So it takes a little bit of work to get it out. I don't think they're very easy to come apart, but anyway, conclusion, G300. Really like the carts, really love the PCC. They did a nice job of packaging and presentation. I do wish these carts inside the box came with the cart condoms on the ends, because, you know, there is, let's see, yeah, it doesn't give you a date on the back. It gives you an operation standard, sanitation standard, nicotine level, period of validity, but there's no date of manufacture on them. I think they really need to seal those up, but the packaging is very nice. I think the only problem is the battery cutoff. So we have determined that, or at least so far, I have not burned one that you are doing, whether you realize it or not, on the other 2-piece cart. So I think the carts may be a winner. And with much longer drag times on the KR battery, I didn't burn that thing, so that's looking promising. So I think that battery needs to go away. There may be a solution. You know, you can always get the G220, but I'm kind of a PCC whore. I want my friggin' charger case and don't want to sit on one of these things and break it. You know, when I jump in the car or anything, I want it in a case. I believe you can get some shorter batteries for the KR, and those should go right on as they do on the you know, on the long ones. If that's the case, and a KR battery will actually go into the PCC. The PCC is a screw-in, unfortunately, but you know, that is now screwed in. Told you this was already fully charged, but I have seen it charge a KR battery. You just need to get one the right height. So I think I am going to try to find myself some short KR 808 D1 batteries and spend some time with these cartridges, and go from there. So, you know, maybe Drew or somebody can get a change made on these G300 and the G220 to even, I would bet if they just increase the battery on time to 5 seconds, at least with the way these cartridges are designed, I would be fairly sure that you would not wind up burning anything up. We still don't know really cartridge longevity. I do know I was vaping on one nonstop for about 4 hours before I disassembled it the other day. So they seem pretty decent, and that could turn, you know, a really good attempt with some, you know, highlights, packaging, the carts. All they need to do is fix the battery, so they could turn this into something that has potential into really pretty kick-ass little e-cig. So having said that, on these carts, so that pretty much wraps the review of that. I do want to go into the carts a little bit though. The way these things are constructed, remember there really is a cartridge inside. This poly is a bit denser than what I've got on my 510 carts. These cartridges hold right at half a mil of fluid, so measured with a syringe, and which isn't all that much. But what's interesting is when they're together, this material wicks really well. When I had pulled this apart, the poly was very close to bone dry. There was still a little bit of fluid. You could squeeze it out of this. And I did a test I wanted to see how well this wicked. And so I just filled the cart with some glycerin, and I just sat this right up against it, and you can watch it wick and getting soaked. So the other part, remember when I said you can't see through the cartridges? I'm not sure if you're going to be able to, but with it apart you can. The reason that you couldn't see through the carts is where this is all assembled, you know, because this is blocking it, and this isn't round, so that's where the air draw comes in through, basically. So what does this mean? That little coil or atomizer is actually a direct path from the battery end of one of these carts. Yeah, not the mouthpiece end. If you try to drip anything in the mouthpiece end of this, you're just going to hit the back of the back of that cartridge and be sucking up liquid. But basically, that atomizer sits right there. So this thing looks extremely drippable. I will say I have connected this to a battery and have put a couple drops on it and let the thing go. 7 seconds. I've run it dry. I wanted to see if I could get this material to burn. It hasn't yet, and it's kept producing vapor. So You know, maybe there are some options. I'm going to have to do a follow-up on this, obviously, after I spend some time on it. And maybe a really short mini review, if I can try to compress all that time on these 3 into like 1 10-minute. But I'll definitely do a follow-up and see how the carts fare. And go ahead and try to get some short KR batteries and see what happens from there. So, you know, G300, G220, really close to being really cool. Maybe only a battery away. So, and again, you can always do the G220 with your KR batteries. You know, basically just buy the carts and go from there. Alright, happy vaping. Later, guys.